Hello and welcome to the Collaborations or Authentic Joint Ventures course. I'm George Cao and I'm really excited to have you here because I think from this course you are going to form hopefully at least a couple of collaborations with the other participants of this course, but you'll at least have the instructions and the inspiration and maybe the structure to form collaborations with people outside this course as well. And as just to give you some context, the reason why I believe in this idea of collaboration so much is that when I started my business in 2009, nobody knew who I was. I didn't know anybody in my industry. My network, my colleagues and friends were not in my industry and couldn't really support me in my new business. But I somehow had the instinct to start doing collaborations right away. And that is how I grew my business from $0 to my first $10,000 month. I made $10,000 in 1 month in my first year. And then my second year was well into the six figures, and third year I think was $300,000 that year. All through collaborations, 2009, 10, 11, 12. I did not know how to run Facebook ads yet. It wasn't until 2014 that I started learning Facebook ads and running them, 2015, 16, 17. And I've become so good at Facebook ads, I've relied so much on that I've let my collaborations go in the past few years. And now I'm kind of bringing it back because I realize that I have neglected this very important strategy. And also that I realized I needed to start doing it again and to teach it so that all of you can grow from zero or wherever you are to whatever level of business you would like to. So collaborations and Facebook ads, those are my favorite ways to grow a business, to grow an audience. And I hope that you will really learn this course and really practice this. So let me begin by sharing some, first let me begin by asking you a few questions for you to add to the comments. I really hope that you will participate in the comments of this course because this is how, in part, you will be seen by other students and maybe form collaborations or friendships this way. So I have a couple of questions for you. Ready? First question is, have you ever done collaborations before with another business owner, another friend for business? That's the first question. And tell us, maybe a little bit about what it was. Maybe you interviewed each other, or maybe you created something together, or maybe you helped each other, promote your products, or perhaps you gave feedback to each other, or how did you collaborate with the other person, as you can think of it? Okay. And Laura says, we coached each other. Yeah, collaboration is any way that you can work with another business owner to mutually benefit each other. That's really all it is. It can be as simple as, hey, you and I get on the phone and we just give each other feedback on how we describe our businesses. How would that sound? Right? That's just very simple, but it's very effective too, because you need to practice describing your business many times to get better and better at it and to get more and more confident doing it. So, one, have you done collaborations before? If you haven't, that's okay. You get to practice in this class. Second, if you have done collaborations, what went well about it? What went well about it? What was beneficial? What did you really enjoy about it? And third, what could have been done better? What could have been done differently and probably better about it? So I would love your responses in the comment section of this course. Okay, or those of you who are live here, you could just go ahead and chat below. All right, and while I'm waiting for you to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and share the logistics of the course. Some of you have already taken many of my courses, and this will be something you can ignore while you are chatting your answers. But those of you who haven't taken my course, welcome. And to get out of the full screen mode, simply double click on the screen. Click twice on the screen quickly to get out of full screen so that you can get back to chatting and adding your comments if you're live here. Okay? All right. And just want to thank a couple of you for chatting, Linda and Laura and Charo and Rosie, Fern and Marie-Louise. So thank you all for your comments and chats there. Okay, so a couple things. One is I encourage you to implement this course as soon as you can. So every single session you implement, because that way you'll actually get the real benefit out of this course. It's not just about, watching this video, okay? And scheduling in time. I don't know about you, but I need to schedule time to do things. Otherwise, I don't tend to do them, especially if the thing I'm doing is not natural. If it's not something I'm already doing, I need to schedule the time to do it. So I ask you, will you please schedule some time? Yes? Okay. Schedule some time now. In fact, maybe after this course. I really do recommend whenever you watch my course, if you can schedule 2 hours for my course, that is better, because then you can have time to immediately implement afterwards. So I recommend that as a future strategy, 2 hours for each of my course sessions. Okay. I have some tools for you. Focusmate.com is wonderful for scheduling time to work on my courses. Or if you want to come to my daily working sessions, those are free. So my daily working sessions are free, group working sessions. So you can come to that. All right. Okay. So if you have any questions about this course, you can ask your questions directly by going to a section of this document that you have a question about. So let me give you an example. If you don't know what it means, what qualified audiences mean, I'm just going to give you an example, right? How to ask a question. If you don't know what qualified audiences mean, or you have something to say about it, you highlight the word or the phrase. You highlight it. You can do that in this document. And then you click on the plus button on the right-hand side, and you say, I'm not sure what qualified audiences mean, ? And you click on comment. And then within usually a few days, I will respond to your comment, and you will get an email that I have responded. Just give me a few days, okay? And so that's how you ask questions. You highlight the actual thing you have a question about, okay? And let me go back here. If you see a question, if you see a comment that you know how to answer, please feel free to comment on that person's question to share your response. And also, please sign up for my next bonus Q&A call. So please click on this link now, and please go ahead and sign up. I have 2 different times for people at different time zones. This first one is for Europe and North America, this first one, and South America and other places that works. This one is for Asia and Australia and North and South America as well. Okay? All right. And I'll talk about the course directory later. So did a coach send you to this course? If so, please ask them for support on this course, because there's a reason they sent you here. If you don't have a coach, here are some great people I recommend. These are people who know my strategies well, and I think would be able to support you with the strategies that we talk about in this course. I think both of them have experience with joint ventures, and I have values that I respect. So you might want to consider Danny or Caroline. And also, these 2 other coaches can also help you with the technology setup. So these Captain and Brian are both coaches, but they're also very good at technology, and they have the capacity to help you with the technology as well. So you might want to consider them. So those are some help for you, okay? And if you want to pay a lot of money, too much money, you can pay me too much money to hire me for 1 hour. I'm too expensive. So go to Danny or Caroline or Captain or Brian. That's what I recommend. I'm kidding. I think some people charge $1,000 an hour. So for those people, I'm a good deal. But for most of you, I'm probably too expensive. But you can also consider joining my Masterheart group. I'm about to open the enrollment for that in the next few months. And so if you want to contact me about being higher on the waiting list, you might want to consider that, because that's where we do a lot of collaborations in the group, of course. So, all right. And I would like for you to open the feedback form now, so that you can start to fill out the feedback form even as I go through the course, so that you can give me real-time feedback. So go ahead and please open the feedback form now. And please fill out the feedback form within 1 hour of finishing the course, so you have you still have it very you remember it. Okay, so please do that now. All right, so now let's get into setting the context first for collaborations and JVs, and please do feel free to keep on commenting underneath the video as you watch this course. I would love to know what ideas are powerful for you, what ideas you want to remember. Just add a comment, a few words about any idea, okay? Or if you have any questions, please also ask your questions. I will not be able to read the chats as I am talking, but later when I read the chats afterwards, I will be able to find the questions and answer them in an upcoming session. So thank you for your continued chats. And I see the chats here from Buffy and Linda and David and Grant and Laura and Charo and Rosie. So thank you, everyone. And if you haven't yet answered your questions, the initial questions, have you ever done a collaboration with another business owner, and how did it go? What went well, and what would you have done differently? And please respond in the comments and in the chat. Okay, so I think you know why we are here. So I'm not going to spend much time on it, but I just want to say a couple things that maybe is not very obvious to everybody. It is much better for someone else to recommend you than for you to recommend yourself. Do you agree? Right? People have a harder time believing you when you say, "Oh, please buy my service. Please, check this website out." But if I say it, then people go, "Oh, wow, okay, I don't know who you are, but I will check it out." Or if you recommend me, "Oh, I don't know who George is." Much more powerful than if you recommend yourself. Okay. Of course, this helps you access a new qualified audience and a trust. And what I mean by qualified audience is, if I recommend you, my audience already trusts me and my recommendations, and they're already proven to be clients or people who like to spend money on services and products. So it's a much more qualified audience than if you just run Facebook ads. You don't know necessarily what the audience is. Well, in my Facebook ads course, I talk about testing audiences, but JV and collaborations just give you a shortcut much faster. And also, your partners, your collaborators, are the leaders of your market, of course. If you talk to a customer, right, or a client, they don't know your market necessarily. They might be a representative of your market, but a partner, a collaborator, someone like me or someone like Lorna or Charo or Sabine or Laura, they know their customers. They know their clients. And so they are a better representative. They know how they think. So they can tell you. And I'll tell you this is what's interesting. In the beginning of my business, okay, how did I come up with the names of my product and services? How did I come up with what my products and services should be? I talked to my collaborators because they know their customers and they help me to know what I should provide in the world. Does that make sense? It's very, very powerful to connect with other business owners. Okay, and finally, it's one of the 7 disciplines of authentic business. If you don't know what the 7 disciplines are, these are the ongoing priorities that I do in my business, and I recommend that you do as well. So please, please, please get familiar with the 7 disciplines. Okay. All right. So how do you build the confidence? I know some of you, in fact, I'll just tell you this. This course has been the hardest. Yes, it is actually. This has been the hardest course that I have sold in the last 12 months. Why is it so hard? Do you know why? Because everyone tells me, "Well, George, I'm not ready to do collaborations yet because I don't have my website yet. I don't have my ducks in a row. I don't have my technology set up yet. I don't have an audience, so I feel like I'm asking favors. How do I collaborate when I have nothing?" And I'm trying to bring the message forward to everybody. That's when you should start collaborating, because I had nothing also, you see. And if you have something already, your collaborations are even more powerful. Collaboration will get you from 0 to 60, right? Maybe 0 to 30 miles an hour. And if you're already driving 30 miles an hour, it'll get you to 60 or 90 miles an hour if you're driving on the Autobahn. Okay? So how to build confidence? What's the minimum you need to start? Anything. Do you have any skill to offer the world? Not if you do. Do you have any knowledge to offer the world? Okay, you're ready to start collaborating. Simple. It really is. It's really, really that simple. And how do you build confidence? You need to do it. You need to practice more collaborations. And by the way, live, I just let you know, this is the hardest course I've sold. Thankfully, I've sold 40 spots in this course, but only 15 of you are here live. 14, counting me as 15. Why? Why is this so scary? This is so scary. Why is it? Please help me understand. Why is it so scary to collaborate? It's so scary for everybody. And those of you who are here are laughing because you see the power of collaboration, but the other 25 people who signed up are so scared that they're not here. There's other reasons why. There's time zone differences, of course. But a lot of people are scared. That's why they're not here. Fear of rejection, Linda says. Well, that's why we're here, because we will not reject each other, I hope, right? And I will teach you how to collaborate in a way where it is compatible, so you don't reject each other. And Fern has a good point. It's difficult because we see colleagues as competitors. Yes, thank you. Please put in here, why do you think people are scared of collaboration? Fear of rejection, Buffy says people are scared of connection, scared of competitors. These are all valid reasons. And when you know how to collaborate, these are all things that you will know how to. Vulnerable, fear of the unknown. Yes, thank you, Cynthia. Rosie, past experiences. One of the reasons why people fail in collaborations is they make it too complicated when they start. Oh, let's create something together. Let's create a course together. No, don't do any of that. You don't want to create something together when you first start learning to collaborate. All you want to do is just talk to each other. That's the first collaboration you should be doing, is talking to each other about your business. That's it. Okay. So you got to practice doing it. And you, of course, I hope you'll practice with other students. And I'll talk about what if you have no audience at all, nothing at all. How do you start? Okay. Now, and Grant, thank you for your comment there. It says, when you just started, it feels like you don't have any real value to exchange. Thank you. Yes, of course. I felt that way too. Also, working with a total stranger risks my personal brand if the collaboration doesn't go well. Yes, that's another good point. Easier to get into a collaboration than to get out. Grant has a lot of business experience, so he knows what he's talking about. Okay, all right. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to make yourself known to the other students of this course. So I ask you to now fill in your information in the course directory. So go ahead and look at the page 3 of the document and go to the course directory, and I will post a link in the chat for those of you who don't have the link. Okay, so let me, and thank you to all of you who have already done so. Katie and Margaret, Marina, Kim, Bings, Angie, Danielle, Francisca, Cynthia. Okay, so here's what you do. Go into the course document or the directory, scroll down, okay, scroll down until you find an empty row, and you will know someone is typing if you see there's a colored box, okay? You will know that there's a colored box. See this person is typing here. Oh, and by the way, I should spotlight my cursor here. Okay, so wherever you see a colored box, that means someone is typing there. So just keep scrolling until you find an empty green row and start your name. And please do put your date, and you can copy and paste the date. So copy and paste the date if that's easier there. And go ahead and start adding your information in. Oh, and be careful to read the titles. Right now, what kind of collaboration are you looking for? So Fern, put that here instead. Yeah, so let's see here. So okay, let me just talk about each of these columns. So right now, what kind of collaboration are you looking for? You will learn in this course what the different types are, and hopefully you will put that information in here. And the thing is this: when you start collaborating with other students, you might change to say, "Oh, I want to do this instead. I want to do that." Please feel free to update this column as often as you can update any of the columns as much as you want in your row. And then whenever you update something, please update the date. Okay. And I'll just give you a hint here. Whenever you update the date, you could just put 9/12 or whatever, and it automatically will put the correct format. So September 12 or whatever. Oh, whoops, that doesn't work. Just do month dash year, or sorry, month dash day, and that's a simple way of doing it. Professional tagline, title, you can look at other people's examples. A type of service you offer, again, look at other people's examples. Type of audience you want to reach. Okay, so I want to ask you all to try to make your row only 5 lines. So thank you, Cynthia, for giving us an example here. Only 5 lines. And if you want to, you could even shrink your font if you want to shrink your font to make it easier to fit. Okay, but not too small. Maybe not smaller than 9. This 9 is, I think, the smaller you should put your font size. Okay, so this one is a little bit too big, so we'll make it 9 instead, and still too big. So what that means, Cynthia, you need to make this shorter. Okay, so okay, tell us about your audience, and so that we know something about your audience. If you want to support each other in any other way, you can say something here. If not, don't worry. And I want you to put the location like this format: USA space arrow space Colorado space, like that. So that way. The reason why we do that is because then we can sort the spreadsheet by that. Okay, we can sort the spreadsheet later. Yeah. So I always make corrections whenever I see that, and we'll do state, so Colorado. Okay. That way, like that. Okay, and information, do whatever you want. You could do, email address, or email address is probably the easiest way, to be honest. Website link, best social media. Okay, now here is a scary part. Okay, but I really, really want to encourage everybody to be honest about their email list size and their audience. Please be honest, and please put it in here. There is no shame to say, and Cynthia, you're not at 0, obviously, but there's no shame to put 0 if you're just starting out. It's okay. I want to see the first person to put 0. I don't see any 0s yet. Does anybody have 0 email list? Fern, congratulations. You are the first. Thank you for being bold and sharing with us. So, yes. Fern, I think you have a bit of an email list. Anyway, you can put 0 if you want. So just be honest with it. And then typical email open rate is percentage. And you can find the percentage by going to your email software. And just for example, you go to MailChimp and you go to the email list that you say, why did I have 22,000 but I only have 2,900? Because I purposely removed 90% of my email list when I became more authentic, and I wanted to remove people who had not opened my emails for like 6 months. So that's why I went down to the small size. Anyway, if you go to the campaigns in MailChimp, you can see what your typical email open rate is. So 30%, 30%, 24, 26. I have some higher ones in the past, so I'm just going to, 35, 34. So I'm going to say about 30%. Okay, so that's what you should put, 30%. Okay, so put a percentage there, and don't put about. Just put the actual average percent, because I'm just going to correct everybody here. Don't put, please be more accurate. Okay, just put one number, and don't say 100 to 200. Say 150, and put an actual number. Don't put a range. Okay. No weasel numbers here, okay, everybody? Be accurate, okay, with your numbers, or at least very approximate. So if it's 40, is it 40%? 40%, is that right? Okay, and how many fans do you have on your Facebook fan page? 85, 452, 197, 1,300, 13,000, not real at all, that's fine. And if it's 350, just put 350, because obviously it's always growing, so you don't have to put plus. And Marina, given that it's not real, maybe you would say, make a guess. Maybe it's really 130 real fans. I don't know, or if it's 1,300 real fans, or whatever it may be. So just put a number there, so we can sort by the spreadsheet later if we need to. Okay. Instagram followers, YouTube subscribers. You don't have any, that's okay. Put a dash. It's totally okay. Any other thing? Okay. And then finally, I want you to put a yes for whichever area of focus you have. And the point in this area is not to put as many yeses as possible. That's not the point. Otherwise, it dilutes the power of the reason we do this here. So for example, Of course, I also talk about leadership sometimes. Of course, I talk about health and relationships, but that's not really the main thing my products and services are about. Okay. What mainly are your products and services about? It's in one of these five probably, or in other, purpose, purpose I would say is probably more career. So I'm going to delete that, Margaret. Sorry. It's career. It's career. Yeah. Purpose is more than career. All right, fine. Talk about spirituality. You could talk about that, right? Or leadership, but let's be as accurate and as well-being. No, sorry. That's health. It's not, that's just health. No, there's no such thing as well-being. Yes, George, well-being is more holistic than just your physical. I know, but we're talking about health, relationships, career, leadership. Put yourself in one of those five. Okay, sustainability grant, that's different. That would be other, right? For example, that would be, legitimately other. Okay, and if it's other, put what it is. So, for example, birth doula. Okay, so that's what I know. I know she does that work. So that's legitimate. Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. I think, Angie, I don't think you talk to people about health overall. I think you're focused on birth doula. So I think that is, it's okay to put just one thing there. Okay. Danielle, I know yours is this. So I will fill out for people if I know people's stuff. I hope I don't. And Rosie, if you offer products as all four, I think it's okay, but I'm trying to avoid people putting like, yeah, I could talk about any of these things. That's a little dangerous. So I would recommend that you choose two maximum as a focus. I know it's hard. Everyone says, oh, and if you're not anything, just leave it blank. Whoops. Leave it blank. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just correcting people here. So, okay. All right. So great. So this is very helpful to see. And the reason why we want to see this is because those who also have, basically, if you have between 0 and 50, you could partner with each other on interviews and things like that. But you can certainly, partner with other people of similar size or just kindred spirits to do clarifying conversations. So let's start talking about the types of partnerships. Okay. All right. So we had a playground document. If you put your information in there, you can copy and paste what you wrote in here into the course directory, as long as you have it small enough so that it doesn't take up too much space. Okay. So some of you have to shorten your descriptions here. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the different ways. Now, these ways are actually a sequence that you can do with some of your best partners. But it doesn't have to be a sequence. You can only just do one type with somebody, okay? And I'm going to start with the simplest one, which is the clarifying conversation. And this is for everybody can do this, whether you are at 0 or whether you are, already well into your business. These kinds of conversations could be very interesting with a peer that is at a similar stage. That's really the point. It's people at a similar stage of business as you. This will be helpful. Or maybe someone is farther along, then they can be more of a coach to you. That's okay too. So basically, how do we do this? Connect with somebody else at a similar stage. I'm just going to assume that those of you who are starting out will certainly be doing this more often. Okay. But, everyone can try this. So find somebody else at a similar stage. And how do you know similar stage? Well, basically, similar size audience, I think is a good hint about these things. Okay. Similar size audience. Cynthia, that's amazing. That's a really great open rate for that email this size. That's like almost double mine. So good job. And why is email open rate important? It's just because you could do a multiplication. And by the way, this is not the highest. Okay, I want to tell everyone, typical, not the highest I've ever gotten. Because if I do highest, I would say, oh yeah, I've gotten 39% before. No, average, typical, recent, typical, recent. And maybe you all know that, but okay. Or maybe I should say average rather than typical. Average. And the reason is because you can multiply this. Okay, so really, so what if I have 2,900 people? Only 30% open my emails. So 2,900 multiplied by 30 is what percent? Is really I have an effective 870 people who actually read my emails. Does that make sense? And Margaret, it's even though it's 250, it's 71%. So effectively, it's 0.71 times 250. So effectively, she has 177 people. So that's why this. So you can calculate when you look at a fellow partner to say, okay, effectively they have about this money, right? That's really important because I've worked with people who have like 5,000, 7,000, right, email list, but their typical open rate 10%. So it's not that impressive, right? Because if you have 5,000 people and your typical open rate is 12%, 5,000 people times 12% is 600 people, right, who open the emails. I have 2,900 times 30%. That's 870. I still have a bigger effective list than someone who has 5,000 people with a 12% open rate. By the way, 12% is industry average. So if you're getting above 12 to 15% open rate, you can pat yourself on the back because more people, your email newsletters are somehow more effective than industry averages. Okay, and if you want to know industry averages, just go to why is this happening? Hold on a second here. Hold on a sec. Let me fix something here. If you want to know industry averages, go to MailChimp. Just go to Google MailChimp email open rates. Okay, MailChimp email open rates, and you can basically see it here. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Industry averages are actually higher now than they used to be, which is good news. But yeah, they're like 20 to 26%. Thankfully for consulting, I'm higher than that, so that's great. But yeah, so there you go. Okay, let's keep going here. Schedule a 30 or 60-minute call. 60 minutes if you're really happy to do it with the other person and if they're happy. 30 minutes is really enough for a clarifying conversation. And if you have any questions, by the way, about any of these types, please scroll down to the section and go ahead. There you go. Thank you, Kim, right? So thank you for suggestions. And then just find an empty bullet point and start typing. And once you have asked your question, Kim, please press enter when you finish asking your question so that you can make another bullet point for other people, another empty bullet point. So great. So yeah, so type your questions and I will either answer it right now or I'll answer it in an upcoming. So awesome. I love that Kim is giving us an example here. Okay, so split the call. So for 10 minutes, okay, for the first 10 minutes, you can demonstrate and you could talk about your ideal client or whatever you know. Like, Fern is starting over and then she might not know who her ideal client, but she can make a guess. Say, well, I'm probably going to reach, women who are in managers and corporations and who want to become more successful in their career. I don't know. I'm just making this up, right? And if Fern were talking to me and she was sharing in her 10 minutes, she would say, George, can you please imagine, do you know anybody who is like a 35-year-old or 30-year-old woman who is like a unhappy manager in a tech company? Can you imagine someone like that? I'm like, yeah, I can imagine someone like that. Okay. Can you channel them now as you listen to the rest of my description? Channel that person. Okay. And I'll say, okay, yeah, I'm imagining, Mary or whatever. Okay, I'm imagining Mary as I'm listening to the rest of this. Okay, great. And then Fern will practice telling me what her offering is. So Fern says, okay, so what I do is I provide coaching to someone like you who, are unhappy, blah, blah, blah. And what I do is this and this. And then for 5 minutes, I will give Fern the feedback. Because, okay, so I'm imagining my friend Mary, and what she's going to say is, I don't know what coaching is. Is it like therapy? And so I'm going to give Fern the feedback on what I imagine my friend, or audience member. Like ideally, if Fern and I were in a similar niche, right, then maybe I already have a bunch of those people in my audience and I could say, well, I can imagine my audience might say this to you or might need you to clarify that. Or, hey, Fern, have you considered offering an online course for how to speak up in a meeting? Because I think Mary would really enjoy that. See, so this is a really helpful conversation for someone like Fern, who's like, okay, she's creating her product and services now, or figuring out how she's going to describe them. Does this make sense? Not if this kind of conversation makes sense. And obviously, you would switch after this. All right, Fern, let me describe my ideal client now. Channel that person. Let me go ahead and talk talk to you about what I would offer that person. So I'm not going to like literally read the entire document to you, but basically there are lots of benefits to having this kind of conversation. The primary benefit is that you get to see what the market gaps are. And let me give you a secret to having done marketing for 10 years. The best marketing, okay, remember this, the best marketing is not excellent writing. It's not excellent graphics. It's not an amazing video. The best marketing is offering a product or service that the audience already wants. Already wants. No, you didn't hear me say need. You don't offer what the audience needs. You offer what the audience wants. Because when you start talking about need, you start to go, well, I think you need this, Grant. Well, no, Linda, I think you need this. But Linda's not looking for that. So if she's not looking for that, she's not going to buy that from me. I have to package. If I really believe my product will serve Susan, and I think, well, Susan needs this. Fine. I can create something that will serve what I think Susan needs, but I need to package it in a way that Susan wants. Otherwise, you'll end up with a course like this where, I'm at a relatively large size audience where I can pretty much like talk about what I think you need and try to convince you to join this thing, right? And those of you who are here, like, my very supportive fans, you're like, George, I don't think I want this, but I'll give it a try anyway, right? So, but my courses that sell really well are the ones that you want, not the ones that I think you need. So this is an example where I'm pushing this. I'm really pushing this course because I really want you to want this, right? But this is what I mean. If you want to be successful in your marketing, do what they want and also deliver what they need, but market what they want. Okay. So let's say I had a really good conversation with Todd, clarifying conversation. And I'm like, we had a great time, Todd. Can we do another conversation? Because it just felt like we really gelled. And are you interested? Okay, great. So if I have another conversation with Cynthia, right, a second conversation, then here's what we could talk about, especially if we are in related niches. Oh, Cynthia, what's working for you to build your audience? I'm really curious. Okay, and then I can share what's working for me. So this is really going to be helpful especially for those of you who have already gotten some clients and some traction, and you could have these kinds of peer supportive conversations. Okay. All right, so great. First question that I get to answer here from Kim. What suggestions do you have for ensuring that we don't go down the rabbit hole of comparison-titis and stay on track with our unique strengths and how we can show up most effectively? And also see our weakness is not a bad thing, just an indication that we are likely able to serve better elsewhere. One of the biggest intimidations you're getting going is constant comparison. Anyone can relate to that? Okay, raise your hand if you can relate to that. Okay, so I might have to wait until the next session because I have to think of a better answer for this. So actually, let me wait until the next one and I'll answer this. But that's a really good question. So remember, Kim, go ahead. Once you've put in something, go ahead and press enter and create another bullet point, because I always want to see like 2 bullet points down here. Okay, so and you could do that by just pressing enter. So I'll give you practice doing it. Anyway, okay, the second type of collaboration. And by the way, I realize we're about halfway through the session, so give you a chance to stretch. I'm always trying to remember this. And please feel free as you watch my courses to, walk around if you want to walk around, or, stretch, breathe. You can take care of your body as you do this. Okay. So, okay. And by the way, I have to just say, for those of you who are live here, if you need to leave early before the session ends, my request is don't say that you're leaving, because it discourages me, when people leave, like, oh, so sad. So just leave quietly, just disappear. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, and I know you all are trying to be like super, supportive and like really courteous. But imagine if I was giving a talk in person and then you stood up in the middle and go, hey, everyone, just want you to know I'm leaving now. It's kind of like that, right? So it's better just sneak out by just closing the video and sneaking out that way. Okay, so thank you though. Thank you for being courteous. All right, product feedback testimonials is the second type of simple collaboration. This is very simple. It's like if I were collaborating with Laura, I say, hey Laura, we have a similar sized audience, and or we have a similar niche, and I would, I'm just starting out, or I've created this relatively new product or service or program, and I'd love to, if you're open to it, would you be interested in sampling my product and maybe giving me some feedback on it? If you are, I'd love to give you access to my product or give you my sessions or whatever it is to give you access. And I'd love to sample yours as well and give you some feedback. And if it's something that I think is a really good fit, I'd love to give you a testimonial. Testimonial is not required in this way. Feedback is required. But if it's like genuinely like, Marie Louise, I really, really loved your thing, and I think it's a good fit for my audience, then I would offer testimonial. But otherwise, I just say, hey, Marie Louise, I thought this was a pretty good service. What I would suggest is that maybe you should also include this, or maybe this part of it wasn't, so offer feedback. This is helpful for the other person, okay? Especially if, trade feedback, especially if you have similar audiences, or if I know somebody who is, is your ideal client. In fact, if I have a good friend or a family member who is your perfect client, we might even trade that way, to say, hey, Cynthia, why don't you do this for my friend Bob, because he would love this. And let me ask Bob first, of course. And, Bob came back and says, yes, he would love to sample your thing and provide honest feedback. Bob is a really thoughtful person, and I think he would be a great person, because maybe I'm not the perfect client for, so you could do it that way too. Okay. All right. Any questions? And awesome. I love it, Kim. Thank you. What type of product service trades you suggest for those that tend toward multi-session? Yes. So like, for example, Kim offers a type of personal development coaching that, you might not see astounding results in the first session, but it might take 3 to 6 sessions, right? In that case, and by the way, does anyone have any suggestions? Does anyone have any opinions about this question? If you do, probably somebody here does, I'd love for you to go ahead and click reply and type your reply to Kim. It's just this is good practice for those of you who are here anyway. So if it's multi-session or a group session or like a group program kind of thing, I would say that, okay, let's talk about group program. I think that's a little bit easier. I could easily give Kim, 2 weeks access to my group program for her to see what it's like to be in my group. So I think that's a possibility. In terms of multi-session, this is tricky, because I would say this. Here's what I would say. He's like, no, George, it really takes 6 months for you to see results. I would say, yes, but I could still give you feedback after 1 session, can't I? Yes, of course I can. So I would still say give 1 or 2 sessions as a sample, because even in those 1 or 2 sessions, you can at least give feedback to the other person regarding how they come across as a coach or a mentor, regarding the pacing of their sessions, regarding the kinds of questions they ask, so that kind of thing. So yeah. All right. So I hope that helps. Okay, so third type. So I want to just kind of stop the screen share for a moment. Is this helpful thus far for me to talk through the different types of collaborations? Can you see yourself doing a collaboration based on what we've talked about thus far, either a clarifying conversation or a product feedback / testimonial? Can you see that yourself doing that with maybe somebody else in this course? Go ahead and comment below, and I'd love to see what you think thus far. Thank you all for your waving to say that I was muted. I'm still recovering from a cold, so thank you. So thank you for your chats, Lorna and Grant and David and Cynthia and Buffy. Okay, and yeah, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, that's a normal experience for getting this kind of download. There's a lot of information here, but step by step, yeah, step by step. Okay, so so the third type is very interesting, client bonus, where imagine if I gave your service as a bonus to my clients. Would you like that? Like, would you be willing to give 2 or 3 sessions for free for my clients? Because then it's like, oh, wow, working with George, not only do you get George's service, but you also get Lorna's 3 sessions for free. Wouldn't that be valuable? And I don't know, Lorna, if that would be valuable for you, because the benefit of this, imagine, the benefit is that my clients, right? You know that my clients are already proven to pay for services. They're already proven to pay for coaching. So when they get your sample, 1 to 3, ideally something like 3 sessions, because then that's not just like a marketing thing. You see what I mean? If you only gave 1 session to my clients, then it feels like it's marketing. It's like, oh, go and take 1 session from Charo. And then it's like, well, then she's just going to market to me. She's just going to sell to me. No, Charo's offering you 3 sessions. Like, you don't have to do anything after that. This is genuinely a service out of the heart. She really believes in her work, and she wants to do this with more people. And of course, she would rather do, Charo would rather do this with my clients, because my clients are paying money for this kind of thing. So then they might more likely be so thankful to Charo for the 3 free sessions that they might at least spread the word about Charo. Do you see what I mean? So this is I think, a brilliant type of collaboration, because, so let me ask you this. What type of service or product, so what type of business would your clients be using before they use your service? Go ahead and brainstorm below, and I'm going to stop the screen share so it's easier for you to chat. So think about your service, okay? Think about your clients. They're using your service, but before they used your service, or during, or at the same time when they were using your service, they might also be using the service of somebody else. What type of service is that? Or before they use your service, what type of service might they use? I'm going to give you a moment to brainstorm and chat below. And please give me the combination of your service and then what they might be using before or during. Okay, so chat that below, and I'd love to offer some examples here in the course. All right, so I've got some examples here I want to share with you all. And also, if you want to comment below and say what kind of bonus you might want to offer, you can brainstorm right now to some other business that has the right kind of clientele. So let me give you some examples here. Grant Hunter says, an ideal kind of business would be a business that has an audience who talk about conscious capitalism with their audience, like deeper purpose, authentic leadership, conscious culture. And Grant would offer the bonus of a toolkit of 33 corporate practices that are about conscious capitalism. So, yeah. Okay. And then let's see here. Okay. Laura offers art workshops, art classes, involvement in the arts. I'm sorry. The partner businesses could be art workshops, art classes, art coaches. And what Laura does is she is a creativity coach. So she could come along as a bonus, offer a bonus there. And I'm just looking at the ones that are very clear for me to say, okay, this is what you do, and this is what the partner does in the chats here. So let's see here. So Cynthia, her service is creative self-care, e-courses, or mindful art facilitator training. And other partner services could be self-care type of coaches. And I would say, personal development coaches, and let's see what else I would say is, I'm at a loss here, but there's other ideas I'm sure we can come up with. And Susan offers coaching, counseling regarding sex and relationships, and her partners where she could offer bonuses would be, marriage counselors or divorce counselors. So yeah, that's a really great, example, right? Okay. Any other examples here? Okay. All right. All right. So let's take a look at the other types of collaborations, and I will fill these out as I have some very clear ideas to do later. And anyway, here are the instructions. If you have any questions about any of these instructions, you know what to do. Add your questions in here. All right. So the fourth type of collaboration is something that I do as often as I can, really, which is a co-interview. It's very simple. It's like somebody else has an audience similar to mine, and I have an audience similar to theirs. So why don't we interview each other for one? So, for example, if Linda and I have similar audiences, then I would interview Linda for my audience. Like I would say, I would do a video, Zoom video with Linda where she talks about her expertise. Maybe she teaches something useful to my type of audience. And then I would post that video to my audience, either on a Facebook page or a YouTube channel or an email list or whatever way that my audience usually gets content from me. They would get introduced to Linda and her expertise, and they would get some useful teaching, useful tips or things like that. And then Linda would do the same. Linda would interview me, and then I would get to talk about something that her audience needs. I would teach them something, and then she would post it to her YouTube or her Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, however she usually reaches her audience. Does that make sense, everyone? Does that kind of co-interview make sense? Nod if you're getting it. If you have any questions, you can see an actual example of a co-interview that I did this year. Mark Silvers interviewed me. I actually interviewed him first. It doesn't matter. But here's what we literally did. I reached out to Mark. Hey, Mark, we have similar audiences. Mark and I already kind of knew each other. Hey, we have similar audiences. I thought what might be a great idea. And here's part of the answer to the earlier question, great question by Kim about comparisonitis. Mark and I literally provide the same thing to the same audience. We couldn't be closer competitors. Literally someone could say, I'm going to take Mark's courses and Mark's programs and not yours, George. People could do that. But because Mark and I understand the power of collaboration, we know that's not going to happen. What's more likely to happen? Okay, here's I want to look in the eyes here. There is a common misconception about competition. Somehow, when competitors work with each other, they somehow eat at each other's businesses. That's only true when it comes to recurring commodities. I have a toilet paper. You have toilet paper. I sell, if someone buys my type of toilet paper, they're not going to buy your toilet paper. I'm obviously, because people only buy one type, usually in the house. They're not going to try 5 different types a year or whatever. This is one type. That's a commodity, the exact same product. Okay. But when anything has any kind of variation, which is when you introduce a human element, it's no longer a commodity. And of course, if you can make yourself more unique and things like that. So even though Mark and I literally teach heart-based entrepreneurs how to grow their businesses, literally sounds exactly the same, right? But we're not commodity because I do it in my way and he does it in his way. And even though sometimes we talk about the same strategies, I'm sure Mark talks about collaboration. He probably has I don't know if he has a course on, but he should, right? And I would be happy to promote his course on collaboration if he promotes mine, because here's the secret. When it comes to a product that is not a commodity, people will buy both. That's the secret to the competition. So For example, organic snack bars. Coaching is obviously people are going to buy both, but organic snack bars. I have an organic snack bar. You have an organic snack bar. People are going to buy both. If I promote your snack bar, if I have a bonus, you buy, a box of 6 George Cal snack bars and you get a bonus of the 7th type of the Laura snack bar. It's great because then now I'm like, oh, I like both. I'm going to buy both because I'm going to somehow get tired of the George Cal snack bar at some point and want to buy, and then at some point I'll switch back to the George snack bar, especially as it comes out with new flavors. The same thing with your business. Your best possible partners offer the same thing you do to the same audience. Those are your best partners. This is why I want everyone who is a heart-based business owner to take this course, or at least to get this information, because then everyone collaborate with each other and everyone will grow their audiences and their sales. I've done this for 10 years. This is how it works. There's no competition. There's only growth together. The closer you are as a competitor, the better it is. Because the more likely your clients are also going to buy my stuff, especially if I offer different types. I should clarify this. If you and I only ever offer one-on-one coaching, then it's kind of like a commodity situation where, Grant's not going to, no, I actually do know people who hire multiple business coaches. Okay. But usually Grant will hire one business coach and not another business coach if that's all we offer. But if Grant already has another business coach and I offer business courses, then Grant's going to buy a business course and also have a business coach. Does that make sense? So it's better if you have different formats of services. Mark has different formats. He has programs, courses, and one-on-one, and so do I. So that's why it's a great match. Okay, does that make sense? This is not if you're now seeing how powerful it can be when competitors work together. Okay, direct competitors work together. The more direct, the better, as long as you have different formats of products. Okay, so let me keep going here. So here's what happened. Okay, I reached out to Mark and I said, Mark, let's interview each other. And then Mark says, great. And then I sent Mark this link. Okay, I sent Mark this link. Hello, Kindred Spirit. Use the 60-minute schedule below. I look forward to our time together. And Mark went ahead and got a time on my calendar that works for him. Okay. So I have this set up, right? So you should have something like this set up too, right? This is Acuity Scheduling, acuityscheduling.com. That's the tool I use. I love it. And I've embedded that into my website, okay? So I sent him the link to schedule for 60 minutes. He scheduled it. And then during those 60 minutes, I interviewed him for 30 minutes and he interviewed me. And when I interviewed him, I recorded that part of it. We did a Zoom conversation. I recorded that part of the interview. And when he interviewed me, I gave him the permission to record the session, and he recorded the final 30 minutes where he was interviewing me. And then we each posted. So Mark posted the interview about me. I'll just give you an example here. Mark posted the interview about me, right, on his Facebook page, right? And I posted the interview about him on my Facebook page, just to show you what it looks like. His looked more cool. He actually edited the video to like put lower thirds and higher thirds, which is very thoughtful of him. I was too lazy, so I just posted the interview. But anyway, we reached a lot of people. Okay, so that was great. I mean, some people discovered me through that interview with Mark, and some of my people discovered Mark through this, and this is just a win-win. And so how do you find the right people? I'm actually, I'm going to save this topic about finding the right collaborators for this kind of thing and for the next kind in the upcoming sessions, because that's a longer conversation. But I want to see, does anybody, can you imagine yourself doing this kind of co-interview? Go ahead and chat below and let me know what kind of business you can imagine co-interviewing along with yours. Go ahead and comment below. Great. So, Grant says, yeah, others working with conscious leaders, conscious culture. Buffy says, yes, any health coach-based businesses. Let's see here. Did I miss somebody? Charles says, yes, other marketing mentors and branding coaches. Sabine says, others who talk about energetic, holistic approaches. Susan, other therapists and marriage counselors or divorce mediators. yeah, totally. And, they can interview her about what sex relationship coaching was like. So yeah, I mean, Cynthia says other heart-based business coaches or art therapists, art teachers, etc. Linda says businesses I can interview are health, memory, creativity, self-care coaches. Great. Marie Louise co-interviewing other business leaders, authentic heart-based coaches. Great. So one of the questions that Linda has was, well, yes, but what do we ask them? Okay, how do we interview them? And that's a really good question. And what I'll do is I'm going to put together a template for the next session where you could send them that template. So this is why I love teaching these things live, so that I can make the course better as I go along. Or I was going to say make up the course as I go along, which is really what I do. All right. So the final type of is the most complex type, and I will spend more time on future sessions about this. But I just want to give you a bit of a teaser here. Joint venture is really how I started in the first year. I kind of learned about joint ventures, and that's how I grew to my first $10,000 month in my first year. And this is really how a lot of people grow their businesses to 6, 7, 8 figures, is through joint ventures. Okay. And then once they have an audience, then they could use kind of Facebook ads. Once they have a big customer base, Facebook ads is even more effective, because then you can use lookalike audiences to find even more people like that easily, that kind of stuff. But joint ventures are amazing. And what joint ventures are is very simple. Okay. JV is, joint ventures. Joint venture sounds like, oh, Disney and Coca-Cola are going to create a joint venture. It sounds like such a big thing, and usually is in the news. It's that. But in the in the kind of online small business world, it's very simple. Laura, I'll promote your product to my audience if you promote my product to your audience. How does that sound? Right? That's what a joint venture is. Linda, I'll promote your product if you'll promote my product. I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back. So it's no longer just a co-interview. It's, I'm going to sell for you, and you will sell for me. Okay. And as you can imagine, this kind of thing is going to work better if you already have had some relationship with that person, if you have had some sense of their quality and their values, which is why I said earlier that these 5 types could be a really beautiful sequence you do with somebody. Now, you don't have to do all 5 with somebody. You could do type 1 and then type 4, or you could do 2, 3, 4, or you could do 4 and 5, right? So when you've gotten more experienced with doing collaborations, like Mark Silver and I, we could just do co-interview and immediately do a joint venture. Or we could go directly to a joint venture with really established businesses and very savvy with their marketing. They go right to the joint venture, because they basically can sample each other's services right away and go, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Let's go for it. And so I'll talk about joint venture models in the next sessions, but I just kind of wanted to give you a sense of this, and that this can be very profitable. Okay. So, all right. Okay, so question by Kim, thank you. Kim says, do you only do trades of marketing products to each other's tribes, or do you also joint venture with profit sharing? Yeah, no, thanks for asking. Joint venture is really typically about profit sharing. So it's not just, Laura, I'll promote you, promote me, my product. But not only that, when I promote you, and any sales happen, you give me 50%. Got it? And when you promote me and any sales happen through you, I'll give you 50%. So that's how it works. That's really the sort of the way that JV online works. So I'll talk about the logistics of JVs in upcoming sessions. All right. But let me go right now to the homework for this session now. Fill out the feedback form. If you haven't already done so, I would love to have you fill that out within 1 hour of watching this. This is so helpful for me. I want to ask, would anybody here be willing to give an early testimonial about this course thus far? If you would be willing to help me with this, I'm going to make a post today to my Facebook page. Here are the early testimonials about how this course is going. Would you be willing? Would you be interested? So think about the people who are like, I don't know if collaborations are for me. I don't know if I should do this course. I want as many people in my audience doing this as possible, because then you all have more, obviously, so that, I get more students, but also you all have more partners to partner with who are like, really understood, culturally with us on what competition really means. So if you're willing to give me a testimonial on this so far, I'd be grateful. Anyway, okay. So if you haven't already added yourself to the course directory, that's the second part of the homework. A lot of you have already done so. I'm grateful. But go ahead and claim an empty row and fill out everything that you can. Okay? And finally, most importantly, I want you to schedule at least one collaboration. Now, if you can do it with someone from this course, then it's you already have the same language. You can reach out to somebody. And here's what I want you to do, okay? Let's say that I was reaching out to Laura. What I want you to do is it's like if I was reaching out to Laura, okay, I should let everybody else know I'm doing this by clicking on her name, okay? Clicking on her name and then insert, comment, okay? So insert, comment, and say, hi, Laura. Oh, and I'm sorry, before I do that, yeah, no, that's all you should do. Insert, comment, hi, Laura. Laura, I'll be reaching out to you about co-interviewing, right? So so if I were saying that and then I click comment, you can always delete the comment if you need to, by clicking the three dots and clicking delete or edit. But if you do this, and let's say I did that, and let's say that, Cynthia also wanted to reach out to Laura, she could also just go over here and click on my comment and click reply. Hi, Laura, I'll be reaching out to you as well about blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's how you kind of notify the rest of the class who you're reaching out to, because let's say that Laura has like 3-4 comments on her name, then maybe you should try reaching out to somebody else because Laura's going to be busy for a little while. You see what I mean? So go ahead and do that with one another. That seems like a good fit. And like I said, click on their name, click on insert, click on comment. Does that make sense? Now that makes sense. Okay. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing you get to know each other through collaborations and find benefit doing one of the 5. So you can do any of the 5 with the fellow students of this course, and you could do more than one, of course. All right. Any questions before we complete the session? I'm just going to pause and see if there's any questions. And by the way, if you want to reach out to people beyond the course, feel free to do that. But I urge you, and I as short of forcing you as I can, please do at least one outreach this very week. Today, if you can, take action. Unless it's night, then do it tomorrow. But take action this week to reach out to at least one person for potential collaboration. And let me tell you this, if it's somebody outside of this course, you may have to reach out to 5 or 10 people before you get one yes. Okay, because they're not as aware of collaborations. People in this course are more likely to be open to this. Obviously, at least if someone reaches out to you from this course, reply back as soon as possible, at least with a supportive thank you. But I'm really busy, but thank you. I'm so proud of you for reaching out. Okay, if you're really busy, but try to do something with that person. Okay, and when you reach out to somebody in this course or to somebody else, especially if you reach out to somebody else, okay, you might want to say the items in your email. You might want to mention some of the items that you've already written here, right? Including, your email, your audience size, etc. Because otherwise, how will they know that it's compatible for collaboration? So that's another reason why I had you fill those things out, because those things are what potential partners find useful to know about you, about your business, okay, about your stage in your business. All right. So without, I don't see any questions here for now. If you want to offer a testimonial, the best way is to put it into the feedback form of this course. And let me go ahead and give you the feedback form, and go ahead and do that as soon as possible so that I can share this course and share your testimonials so that others will want to join. Or you can email me at georgekao@gmail.com, georgekao@gmail.com. That might be the fastest way to get it to me. Okay. All right. Go and do at least one collaboration this week if you can, But if you can't schedule it for this week, at least reach out to 5. I'm going to actually even encourage you, in terms of the students in this course, maybe you reach out to 2, because there's relatively few students and you might find 2 people who are compatible. But in terms of people outside this course, try to reach out to 3 and see what happens. I want to hear your experiences in the next session, and we'll talk further about the logistics and details of collaborations, and any other questions we'll cover in the upcoming sessions. All right. Thank you for being part of this course. I look forward to hearing your progress, and go and do the homework. All right. Bye for now.